Real life street stars. Know what time it is.
You mentioned Soular. I'm just curious. You get out, you have your exodus, you escape. You have your other daughter,
Aviana.
Soular. How does he play into your life? How does he play into the picture, and how does he come into it? Y'all were there together. I'm assuming he left himself and you left yourself, because your story doesn't involve Soular, which you're leaving.
Yeah.
But there was, I guess I don't want to call it Carbon Island, but the people who left Carbon Nation. Those people who all left or came, did what they did, left. You're part of one of those who are back in the States now. How are you and Soular coming together in this scenario, and how, like, what is that as far as coming together?
So for me, starting off with me, I was in prior to being with him or coming together with him, I was in a state where I was like strictly focused on self-love. I was strictly focused on healing, emotionally healing, womb healing, all of that. I was like going on, like, I was like damn near raw vegan. I was like extreme alkaline, and pouring into myself, pouring into my children. And this is when he gives a description of my home being a temple or being like a church, because that's quite literally what I was doing. I was like praying every day. I'm like literally like, I gotta heal, and I was pouring so much into myself to the point where when you are on your healing journey, the trauma comes out. And so my platform has been the avenue that I have shared that trauma and poured and purged, my trauma through and on, for maybe to inspire other people to go through their healing journeys and not beat themselves up in the process. And it was at that juncture when I was like totally into myself. Me and Soular, we had a little connection, but that was only because of Natiri, because I was like considered her friend at the time. But one day there was like so much stuff going on, and like certain things didn't add up to me, because Natiri Janae, she would tell me one thing and I would give her advice, and then she wouldn't take it. And I started realizing that she was lying about certain things about Soular. Like she would call me to talk about Soular to me. And I'm like, I really don't care. I'm not even interested in y'all's relationship. That don't have nothing to do with me. So, everything hit the fan with them. They broke up, everything hit the fan. And, for me, when I have a heart for something, when I feel something is not true, I'll act on that. I move on that. That's the place that I live from. So I reached out to Soular and I was like, you know what, bro, whatever's going on, I just hope you keep your head up. And I had that disposition with everybody who has ever left Carbonation, because, hey, I come from Carbonation and I want the best for all of us at the end of the day. So, I reached out to him. I gave him my condolences for whatever it was that he went through. And I felt for his situation with the child and etc., because I also had my experiences with the child and things like that. And because I had a connection with Natiri, and because she was putting me into like a three-way whatever with them, I just felt the need to reach out to him, to give that condolences to him. That sparked off into our relationship. From that moment, we didn't initially be like, oh, maybe we should be together. It was more like we were expressing ourselves to each other. He would express all the things, and I'm like, bro, I get it. Like, I share these experiences, so I can only relate to you. And so that moment turned into another moment where we're opening more up, and we're realizing that we have more in common than we do have differences. And so I'm like, I actually said it to him. I'm like, something like popped up in my mind, and I'm like the way he was expressing himself, it came from such a real place. Like, I felt the love that he had inside of him. Like, I felt that, and I was like, why am I feeling this? I don't feel like I'm supposed to be feeling this. Like, why am I feeling it? Because somebody can express themselves from their heart, and you don't feel that love inside of you. But I felt it, and I was like, yeah, so I feel this. I acknowledged it. And he was like, no, maybe we shouldn't, It was like one of those situations. He was like, nah, let's not jump the gun. Let's not, let's just be. And I'm like, all right, cool, you're right. So we did. And then we just kept having conversation after conversation, and at some point we realized that our experiences lined up so interestingly that it was just like a no-brainer. It was like, it became a question, are we supposed to be together?
Wow.
And so we kept sharing experiences with each other, and it just got more intense and more intense and more intense. So we decided to come together. I'm like, I want to see you. I want to see you face to face. Because if I see you face to face, if I see you, then I know it's real.
I'm going to know.
Yeah, when we saw each other face to face, we had on the same shoes. This was not planned. We had on the same shoes. We had on the same jacket.
Damn.
The same jacket. A jean jacket with fur on the collar. How in the fuck, like where?
Damn.
So I'm looking at the synchronicity and the pattern. That don't just happen. So I'm like, mind you, I'm also considering his role that he played in my life without being in a romantic relationship with him. This man has gotten me everything that I needed before my pregnancy and after. He was taking care of me. Everything Nature Boy was supposed to be doing for me, he did from a distance, from afar.
Wow.
So I considered those things too, because I'm like, that's considerable. When you are going through things in life, you consider everything. You don't just consider one aspect just because, you know what I'm saying? So that was that or whatever, but we have had our down moments because there is so many odds and there's so many like disillusions and there's so many like outside influences, and many people will have this certain like vision of me and they're like, she doesn't deserve love at all. And I'm like, what the fuck did I ever do to any of you bitches? I didn't do shit to nobody. I deserve love. I'm gonna give myself that, period. Like, the world doesn't even like me loving myself.
Damn.
Because of this shit from carbonation.